Coming to you live from Middle Earth. This is Optimal Play. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Jordan.
And I need to know how to play Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle Earth. Did I get that right?
You've missed the starting the.
The Lord of the Rings. Damn it, I tried so hard.
The Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle Earth.
Yeah, this is going to be one of our casual how to play videos, we call them, without a lot of script. Or any script.
No script whatsoever.
Or fancy B-roll. We are going to have a playthrough of this on the channel shortly. To do that, I need to learn how, so we thought we'd make a video out of Jordan teaching me.
Right. Okay, so welcome to
Jordan,
the Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle Earth. Every time I do that, I'm reading it off the box. Right. This game is similar to Seven Wonders Duel, so you can have that in the back of your mind, but I'm not going to be referencing that game as I teach this one. There are 3 ways to win this game. And basically the game will be played until one of those 3 ways to win occurs. Okay. And if none of them does, at the end of the game, we're going to use one of those ways as a tiebreak. So I'm going to go over those 3 ways right now.
Okay.
One is this track down here. There's actually 2 plastic sliders on here.
Yeah, I was commenting as you set this up that it's a slide rule, and I haven't seen one of these since I was a lot younger.
Right. So it's pretty cool because they're the Fellowship right here, the hobbits, and they're trying to move the ring this way towards Mount Doom. And if they get to Mount Doom, they win immediately.
Okay.
Simultaneously, and on top of that, there are the the representatives of Sauron.
The ring wraiths.
The ring wraiths, yeah. Right? And they're moving on top of this track, and if they ever catch the ring bearers like that, then the Sauron player wins the game. And so this is one of the 3 win conditions.
So effectively, they also, well, I guess they don't get any closer to the hobbits, but they also end up moving whenever the hobbits do.
They do,
sort of.
But the symbols that they're covering are entirely on this plastic thing on top. So as
so
they
not
advance
actually
on their track, it's separate from the hobbits' track.
Oh, so it's kind of okay. It's actually
it could be accomplished by 2 separate tracks.
It's 2 separate tracks, just done in a cool way, using one panoramic piece of art and stuff. Okay,
right.
I buy it. I like the toy factor.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. So that's one way. The second way is if you have 6 different racial symbols on your green cards. So the green cards represent your connections with the different races of Middle Earth.
Okay.
So you have the hobbits, this is the elves, you have the dwarves. There are 6 different ones. Mm-hmm. There's a way to get a 7th one. We'll cover that later. But if you have 6 different ones in your tableau, you win the game through that victory condition.
Okay.
The third victory condition is if you have a piece in each of the 7 different regions of the Middle Earth map. Okay.
7 regions, not wonders.
7 regions.
Got it.
And then at the end of the game, if the last card is taken from the tableau, that's sort of the timer for the game, and none of those victory conditions has been achieved, whoever has a piece in the most regions of Middle Earth will win. That's the tiebreak.
Okay, got it. So that's kind of the victory. Sorry, you said you weren't going to draw analogies to Seven Wonders Duel, but I've played so much of it that I can't help myself.
Yeah,
so that's sort of the points. Okay,
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, foundation in mind, let's talk about how you play the game. So we're going to play over 3 eras. Each era is a deck of cards. We've already dealt the first era out here. There are 3 cards left over. The patterns to deal out the cards are in the rulebook. There will be different ones for, eras 2 and 3. I think they're called chapters instead of eras.
So this is always in the same pyramid shape, always the same number of cards face up and face down like you see here?
For chapter 1. For chapter 2, it'll be a different shape.
Right.
But yes. And so on your turn, you can draft a card that's, available from the bottom of this row. Available means that there's no other card covering it. And with that card, you can do one of 2 things. You can either play it in front of you, or you can discard it for money. If you discard it for money, you get money equal to the chapter number. So in the first chapter, you just get $1, $2 later, etc. If you put it in front of you, many of the cards are free, especially the ones in this first era. In which case, you just put them in front of you and you resolve them. And we'll cover what the different colors of cards do in a minute. Some of the cards, however, do have costs. None of the ones face up do, so I'm going to pull an example from this deck.
Is that not what these are?
No.
Oh.
Actually, it is. Excuse me. Yes, these are costs. So the costs are these little small circles. So you can see...
They're very small.
They are small. The costs in this game are paid by having the matching symbols in your tableau. So for instance, this elf card has a little book symbol right here. This is a book symbol. If you have this book in your tableau, then you've achieved that cost. If there's a symbol that you're missing, you can pay 1 coin for each missing symbol.
Okay.
Some cards just cost coins like that, so you would just pay the coins. And then as you go on, cards will get more expensive and have more symbols.
And when you pay the coins, you just pay the supply.
Right, just pay the supply with the coins. Okay, so that is the take a card action. So let's cover what the different cards do, the different colors. So yellow cards have money on them. You immediately take the money. Gray cards give you symbols that you use to pay for other cards.
Sure, like you have this book symbol all of a sudden that you don't have to pay gold for those elves.
Right.
Okay.
Blue cards let you move along the ring. Oh,
that's
so
what ring
if
symbol
it's
is.
you, whichever side you're on. So if you're playing as Sauron, you'd move the ring wraiths. If you're playing as the Fellowship, you'd move the Fellowship marker. And then if you go to a symbol, because there are symbols on these tracks with various rewards, you get that reward, immediately.
Sure.
So for instance, there's a coin here. Some of these other symbols we'll cover a little later. All right, so those are the blue cards. Now let's cover the red cards. So red cards here have a certain number of troops, which are this little gray symbol in the middle there, and then it'll point to two different colored regions. Those correspond to regions on the map. So with that card, you could take one troop and put it in either the blue region, which is Linden, or the black region, which is Arnor, which is just what's on that particular
And when you
card.
say with that card, you mean you do it immediately when you draft that card?
Immediately when you play that card into your tableau. That's right. Okay, how do troops on the map work? So on each section of the map has an area for troops, and it can only have one player's troops in it.
Oh.
So if I have a troop in Arnor and you add a troop in Arnor, our troops will kill each other, and they'll both just be discarded. Okay. So if I have a troop in Arnor and you add two troops, then your first troop will kill my troop and they'll both die, and then your second troop will stay on the board.
Got it.
Okay. That all makes sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So those are the red cards. And finally, we have, the green cards. So the green cards do two different things. One is, remember, if you have 6 different symbols, you win the game that way. The second thing they do is they let you draw these little shield tokens. These are called race effects.
I noticed that they have icons that are the same icons we're seeing on the green cards. Yeah.
Exactly. So, whenever you get 2 of a matching symbol, you get to draw the top 2 tokens from that stack, look at them, and keep one.
Okay.
And then the other one will go back on top of the stack. I'm not going to explain what all 18 of these tokens do. There are 3 for each symbol. There is a little player aid that covers all of them. The only thing I'll mention is that the brown tokens here have ongoing abilities on them, and the 2 silver tokens have immediate one-time effects.
Oh, interesting.
So
that's just certain races always are going to give you one-time effects, right? 'Cause this is like this leaf symbol, it corresponds to some race, and it's the same all the way through the stack, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Okay. Additionally, once per game, whenever you have 3 different race symbols, you get to draw 1 token from the top of each of those 3 stacks and keep 1.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Each time.
One time during the game.
One time
when you have 3 different symbols.
Okay.
So every time you have 2 of the same symbol, and then once if you have 3 different symbols.
Is it immediately when you get your third?
Yes.
Okay. You can't wait until you get a 4th and then choose 3.
No.
Got it.
Yeah. Or at least the rules don't cover that possibility, so I assume not.
Okay.
Okay. So that's what the green cards do. They are victory conditions, and they let you interact with these shield tokens up here. Okay. Finally, there is a color of card that is only in the 3rd deck, but I'm going to cover it now anyway. It is the purple card. The purple card has a few different effects on it. One is your opponent loses a coin. One is your opponent loses a troop somewhere on the map.
Who chooses?
I think you choose as the person playing it.
Okay.
But I'll double check that. And then finally there are these arrows which allow you to move 1 troop, 1 space, following these lines. And when troops move, they kill each other just as if they'd been placed there for the first time. You can use all 3 moves on this card on 1 troop, or you can divide them among 3 troops. However you want to use them is up to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So those are the different colors of cards. That's basically everything they do. So now let's cover the stronghold tiles. I think that's what they're called. They are called landmarks. Landmark tiles. So there'll always be 3 of these out. On your turn, instead of taking a card from the tableau, you can take one of these instead.
Oh.
And then at the end of your turn, it will be replaced by a tile.
And that doesn't, you don't have to discard a card from the tableau when you do that?
I don't believe so.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see that.
So it's a little different from
It's a little different.
Wonders.
I'll double check that. Okay. So what all of these tiles do is they're going to let you place your stronghold marker in the matching location. So there's one of these for each of the 7 regions. So if I took this Linden tile, the first thing I'd be able to do when I do it is I'd put this marker out
Oh,
here.
I see. Using the icon,
Using the
like
icon
the
there.
banner up there. Got
Right,
it.
and it's also right here.
Oh, yeah. How about that?
And then secondly, they have some other effects that you've seen elsewhere. Like this one gives you 5 coins in a troop movement. This one lets you draw 2 tokens from, I think, any stack, and then, pick one. So, I mean, all those effects are also on this player aid. But, they're different for each one, but that's generally how they work. The cost of these do have one symbol you haven't seen before, which is this little yellow castle symbol. Mm-hmm. And that is coins equal to the number of your land or stronghold tokens on the board. So your first one doesn't cost anything, but as you build more of these, you have to spend more and more to keep up your infrastructure.
Okay.
Okay.
And you said it's a victory condition to have all 7 landmarks built?
No. It is a victory condition to if you are present in all 7 regions. So it's just presence, and I want to point out that your stronghold does not interact with the troops. So for instance, if you have 2 troops here, but I have this fortress marker here, I'm still present in Linden. So it's almost like 2 separate locations. So once you have a fortress there, you have guaranteed presence in that region.
So in that case, we are both counting Linden towards our 7.
Correct.
To potentially win. Interesting.
We both would have a 7, and then when in the tie break, we'd also both count that one. Right. It's not like one of us beats the other, I believe. I'm double checking. Yeah, present in the most regions.
Interesting.
So yeah, in the case of a tie, you share the victory.
So once you build your landmark, you might as well move any troops you have there.
No reason to have troops there, unless you're trying to deny that location from your opponent.
Oh, valid. Yeah.
There you go. I think that's all the rules we need to start playing, but let me know if anything is not making sense.
I'm just glancing at the cards. No, it makes sense to me. I assume that kind of the game escalates and you start seeing multiple rings and things, because I'm glancing at it and wondering how you'd possibly get to the end of this track.
So yeah, you can see it doesn't escalate that much, but in the blue deck there's 1 3 ring in the chapter 3 deck, and then there's a few 2 rings. There starts to be 5 coins.
Okay. And a couple symbols on these tracks I don't think we touched on.
Sure.
The little arrow.
That means go again.
Okay.
This one is remove a fortress.
All right.
And it can be any of your...
Choose one of your opponent's fortresses. And
right, exactly. Okay. And then this one is just put 1 troop in any region.
Sure, that looked like the card, so I figured that.
So that's all of those. And again, those are on this player aid, which has on one side the quest of the ring effects and landmark effects, and on the other side each of the tiles in the different shield piles here.
Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, I see that wizards is one of the races.
Yes, so you have elves, dwarves, hobbits, humans, ents, and wizards. And ents and wizards
kind of
are the 2 that are one-time effects.
I guess wizards and Lord of the Rings are kind of their own race. The Astari, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just
wow,
laughing.
The Astari.
I know.
Really
maybe I know more than I thought.
Maybe you do.
Yeah. I played some Lord of the Rings, the card game.
Sure.
That's where I learned this stuff.
Sure.
They're Astari traded.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for the teach.
You're welcome.
I'm excited to play it. And if you're excited to see us play it, that will be in a video at the time we post this, probably tomorrow. And
there is one rule I forgot.
Oh.
The chaining rule.
Well, that sounds important.
It is. Sorry, I'm realizing I forgot something, and I want to make sure that it's included. So you'll notice that this card, or you might not be able to notice from this distance, has a little symbol in the bottom left corner of the cost area. And that symbol exists on another card.
I didn't even notice. A lot of the symbology on these cards is pretty small.
Yeah, it is. Especially because these cards are bigger than 7 Wonders Duel cards. In any event, that little bow there means that if you wanted to play this card, you would play it for free. So if you play a card,
it has the bow and the bow.
Right. If a card has a symbol in the top right corner, and then you want to play a card with that symbol in the cost area, you can do so for free, ignoring the cost.
And is there always just one? Maybe you don't know. I assume that there's always just one card that chains.
Yes.
That it's not like there's a lot of bow and arrow symbols sprinkled around.
That's right. And I confirmed that there's no rule about taking a card when you take a landmark.
Got it. Okay.
That doesn't appear to be here. So, yeah, that does change things. Because you could usually hate draft in 7 Wonders Duel with that little mechanic, right?
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Well, I was going to say, I'll sign off if you'll get your head out of the rulebook.
Sorry.
Check out our video for a full playthrough of The Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth very soon. And if you would, please like this video, subscribe to the channel. That's the best and only way to help us out. You can check out Jordan on the Game Brain podcast for more of him, and more of me pretty much only here. All right, we'll be back soon with playthroughs. Till then, be optimal.